joining us for more on this now is former Cruiserweight World Champion Tony Bellew. Tony, a very good morning, mate. How are you?
Morning, Tony.
Good morning, boys. How's it going?
It's going great, mate. Now, Frank called it a liberty, Tony. Spencer Oliver thought it was on the money, or if on the money, didn't think it was a low blow. We kind of agree, but we've never been in the ring to that extent. You tell us your opinions, please, mate.
Mate, you get it in that part of the low blow. I'm sorry to say, mate, but it's eye-watering. There's a reason you'd have a low blow and a protector on, mate, and it's to protect you downstairs.
Yep.
And he walloped that low blow. Anything below the navel, boys, is a foul. That's not my opinion. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. And that punch landed below the navel, so. You know, for me, it was a foul. I'm not going to be silly and say it was a horrendous foul, like something like Gallotta and Bow.
Yeah.
But it was all in all, mate. It was still a foul.
Tony, tell me then, where do you sit on it when we almost said Frank on? I don't know if you heard Frank earlier, and he obviously was of the opinion it wasn't a low blow, whichever is entitled to their opinion. But he did mention something that Usyk wears his shorts higher than most. Is that a fair point to make? Absolutely not, no, mate. He's not someone who wears the shorts high, to be fair. I mean, knowing Frank, well, he's got a narrative, Frank, and he's got an agenda, hasn't he? And the agenda is to push that his man was absolutely robbed. But let's be totally honest. Let's just take away the low blow for a minute. What actually happened in the fight?
Yeah. It was one night.
The lad was on his knees watching the referee count to 10. He didn't want to get up. He didn't want to fight no more. He'd had the fight beaten out of him. So that's the harsh truth of it. And everyone can go on about what happened in the 5th round. But why didn't he just jump all over him and do it again?
Very true. Tony, I just wonder what Usyk actually. What was he? What's he trying to achieve by going down like he did? I didn't think it was a punch that was gonna finish the fight. You know, the low blow.
You know what? And I think if that referee would have started counting, he'd have got up.
Right.
Yeah. He just played the martyr. I don't want to say played the martyr, but he's played the game. He had a little blow. He was on top in the fight. I mean, did he even lose a single round, boys?
I think it's... Look, we know that Daniel gave a good account of himself, and he was plucky and he was game, but he wasn't quite in the same class, was he?
He was trying his best, mate, but ultimately it just wasn't good enough. And when you're in the ring with someone like him, you realise, I mean, what you're up against. It's just so tough. It really is. But
is it a grey area in boxing in terms of what you can do in a situation like that, Tony? Is that something that... Is there some more clarity that needs to be placed around an incident like that? I don't know what it is, but is there anything you can do?
I mean, usually you'd like the referee to tell you what's low and what's not low.
Right.
And some referees do. I mean, I pointed out on my social media, some referees say that's low, that's good. I remember Andre Ward fighting the Sergei Kovalev, and they were complaining that Kovalev's shorts were high. So the referee before the fight literally said, the belt line's good and this one's not good. And below it's not good. But as I said, it's a standard rule in boxing. Anything below the navel is low. And there's no way in this world that punch wasn't below the navel. No. You can dress it up in any way you want. You can show me how many stills, how many frames, how many pictures, how many videos. Every single time that punch is below the navel. I mean, unless he's got the belly button that's literally above his todger. Sure. Which I'm sure he hasn't. Yeah. Then I'm telling you now, mate, that was low.
What next for Daniel then now? Assuming that Tony's not necessarily going to get, the chance to go in again with Usyk, I would doubt that. What does he do now? Where's he pick himself up from here?
He'll regroup, and he'll go again. I thought he showed a little bit more improvement under Don Charles, but I just think I don't want to write fights off, and I think it'd be wrong to do it. But listen, the first time you spew it, the first time you quit is the hardest. And I'm sorry to say, mate, that's the second time he's done it. And you can be as harsh as you want, or you can say whatever you want. I'm just stating facts there, mate.
Yeah.
He had enough, mate. In that 9th round, he stayed on one knee, and you can't do that in world title fights, guys. You're not going to end up getting to the goal if that's the path you take. You're really not, because sometimes that's all you've got is your toughness. Yeah. And if you haven't got that as a fighter, then you're going to be found wanting again, in my opinion.
Sure. We can't let you go, Tony, without your beloved Everton. What did you think of the weekend?
It was tough, you know what I mean? It's just, guys, we created 40-odd chances in 2 games. We should have won them both.
Yeah.
And it's just heartbreaking to see that we're not putting the ball in the back of the net. I do think the good times will come again. I don't think it's as bad as people are stating, but ultimately, mate, we've lost 3 games out of 3 and we need a win.
Yeah.
Sheffield United away next.
Cool.
I'm not going to start playing must-win games, but, you know, we need the result. We just need a goal. I think once one goes in, I think there'll be a rainfall of them, but we've just got to get that first one, lads.
Tony, just a quick one. I can't let you go. Verdict, Smith Eubank 2.
Repeat, mate.
Yep.
He's not good enough. Simple as that.
Brilliant, mate. Live on talkSPORT as well. Tony, thanks very much for your time, mate, and congratulations. You're the first man ever to get the word Todger live on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT, yeah.
Haven't heard that since primary 5, mate. Brilliant.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.